Alright, take 3. Unit 1, Day 11. Adding and subtracting rational expressions. Yesterday we multiplied and divided. We factored everything we possibly can factor, and then canceled, and then multiply across. Now with adding and subtracting, you have to have an LCD before you add or subtract. We are not factoring first. It's coming at the end. So you need a least common denominator. So if you look at number 1, our denominators are 15xy and 15xy. They are common, so that's exactly what we need, so we're just going to bring it over. We're not going to add or subtract the bottoms. Whatever the common denominator comes over. So now we can just do the indicated operation with the top. So subtraction, we change to addition and change the signs after. So 8y plus negative 3 is 5y. Now once you add or subtract, this is where you're going to cancel or factor anything you can. So you're going to simplify from this step. So what can we simplify down? The 5 and the 15. What number can go into both? 5. So 5 goes in there once, 5 goes in there 3 times. So 1/3. What else can we cancel top to bottom? The y's. So what are we left with? Just an x on the bottom. Let's look at number 2. Does it have a least common denominator? It does. It has a 4. So now, same thing. Subtraction becomes addition. The x becomes a negative. The 5 becomes a positive. Now we combine like terms. 2x plus negative x and 1 plus 5. Can we simplify the 6 and the 4? No, because the 6 is attached to a plus with the x. That is one factor. So that is your answer. Now let's take a look where we don't have a least common denominator. So we're going to look at our 3 denominators. We have a 3, a 6, and a 2. I'm always going to take the highest number and look at it. In this case, it's 6. And I'm going to look at the other numbers to see if they can go into it evenly. In this case, they can. So 6 is going to be my least common denominator. So now we're going to look. To get the 3 to a 6, what did we multiply by? 2. So what you do to the bottom, you have to do to the top. So 2 times 2 is 4. Now looking at this 6. 6 times what gives me 6? 1. So multiply the top by 1. 2 times what gives me 6? 3. So what you do to the bottom, you have to do to the top. So our least common denominator is 6. Subtraction becomes addition, and the 3 becomes a negative. So 4 plus 1 plus a negative 3 is 2. Now you're going to think to yourself, can I simplify 2, 6? Yes, 2 can go into both, so our answer is 1/3. Now let's stick some variables in it. Not in the denominator yet, just in the top. So looking at 3 and 2, least common denominator again. 6. Good. So now 3 times what gives me 6? 2. So we have to multiply the whole top by 2. So 2 times 4x is 8x. 2 times 1 is 2. So now let's do the other side. 2 times what gives me 6? 3. So we're going to multiply the whole top by 3. So 3 times x and 3 times negative 5. Now we have a least common denominator, which is 6. Now we have a subtraction again. So subtraction changes to addition, and then we have to change all the signs after it. So 8x plus negative 3x is 5x. 2 plus 15 is 17. Now from here you look, can I factor 5x plus 17? Do they have a greatest common factor? No. Can I simplify anything there? If you can't, that is your answer. Let's look at another one now that has variables at the bottom. With your denominators, when you have variables, you're going to look to see if you can factor anything on the bottom. What can we factor on the bottom? Right, y squared minus 16. How can we factor it? Difference of two perfect squares. Now, once we have it factored, we're going to look for your least common denominator. So if you look right here, we have a y minus 4 and a yx plus, or y plus 4, sorry. So we need both of them for our least common denominator. So we need y plus 4 and y minus 4. Because we need everything so that they are common. Now, looking from our y minus 4 over here, what are we missing? We're missing the y plus 4. So if we put the y plus 4 there, now it looks like our least common denominator. So what we do to the bottom, we have to do to the top. So multiply it through y times y, and then y times 4. Now looking at the next denominator, we already have both of them, so you're really multiplying by 1, so your top is going to stay at 32. Now, what do we do with subtraction again? Right, change it to addition, change the signs after it. Now combine like terms on the top. We have y squared plus 4y minus 32. What is our least common denominator? It stays the same. So now from here, we're going to look. Is there anything that we can factor, we can simplify down? Yes, the top. We can factor the top. I'm just rewriting the bottom. So we're going to look at y squared plus 4y minus 32. So we need it to multiply to give me negative 32, but add up to a positive 4. So we need an 8 and a negative 4. So now that's what we're going to use. So we have y plus 8 and y minus 4. Now remember, if you're still having problems with factoring, you need to come in and see us. Now you're going to look, can I cancel anything top to bottom? Yes, the y minus 4s, which becomes 1s. So what are we left with? Y plus 8 over y plus 4. And that is your answer. Number 6. If you remember, when we were just simplifying, if we had x minus 2 over 2 minus x, what did we tell you that they're going to cancel out to be? Right, negative 1. And that's because if you take the bottom and you factor out a negative 1, so we have x minus 2 on top, factor out a negative 1. So if I take out a negative 1, then it's going to be x minus 2. So then those cancel, which equals negative 1. So x minus 2 and 2 minus x cancel out to be a negative 1. So in order to get least common denominator, what do you think we're going to do with a 2 minus x? Multiply it by what? Negative 1. But what we do to the bottom, we have to do to the top. So when we multiply negative 1 through, negative 1 times 2 gives me a negative 2. Negative 1 times a negative x gives me a positive x. And I just rewrote it like the other one, so that they are least common. Now, could I have wrote negative 2 plus x? Yes, same thing. So when we multiply our top, we get negative 3, and then we still have a 5. Now we have a least common denominator. What is 5 plus negative 3? 2. Can we simplify anything from here? No, because the 2 is attached to the x on the bottom. Now let's practice a few. You're going to pause the video and try the following. So I would do number 1 and then check your answer. Do number 2, check your answer, and then 3. So go ahead, pause the video.